Good morning, good morning. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we were on the Brink the Morning Show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. We let that play a little long because we got the sad news yesterday that Peter Tork of the Monkees passed away. He was 77 years old.
Which monkey was he? The See No Evil, Hear No Evil, or the other one?
I think he was See No Evil, wasn't he?
Really, Tobin?
I'm just joking around. He's the Joker.
Actually, they did that. The three of the four of them did the See No Evil, they were the Monkees.
Yes.
And there's a famous picture of three of the four of them doing the See No Evil thing.
And you got to joke a little bit because Peter Tork was known as the jokester of that crew.
Yes. Well, and it's a fun crew. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. He was a jokester among jokesters.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he had the floppy, long blonde hair of the group.
Yeah.
So I just can't believe that he was 77.
I know.
People remember celebrities when they were famous, right? And so you even see these memes online where it's remember so and so? Look at them now, and it's been like 40 years, and they used to look so good. Yeah, 40 years ago. People age. Get over it. Anyway, it just it kind of boggles the mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So
who said he could grow up?
I'm never going to grow up.
I won't grow up. How does that song go? Peter Pan?
Oh, you're thinking of Peter Pan. I was thinking of the Toys R Us Kids song.
Oh, that's Toys R Us.
Yes.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us
Oh, yeah.
kid.
I was thinking Peter Pan. That was Peter Pan.
And now the store is shut down and I have nowhere to live.
Right? That's funny, Todd. That's funny. So actually, they think that Toys R Us might come back. They might revive the brand.
Cool.
Right?
I'm all for stores on actual dirt that I can walk into, and not that I'm not a buyer of things that get delivered on my doorstep, but it's nice to be able to walk in and pick up and touch and feel. I'm not going to pay a huge premium. I'm not going to pay double the cost for the privilege, though. So that they've got to find a balance.
So we had this conversation yesterday, and we were talking about what you would say about it. Have you seen the new Samsung foldable phone that's like $2,000?
Yeah, I have. And my first gut reaction is, this is the dumbest thing ever. But after a little consideration and thinking about it, there's places in the world where a person's phone is the only computer they own.
Yeah.
And having a little bit bigger screen to be able to use it in more of a tablet-like fashion has some advantages. So in that situation, but those people are probably not people who can afford a $2,000 phone either.
Yeah. We were joking hard on this yesterday. Aaron said that it's really just a status thing, that people will buy it just to say they've got it, so they can wave it around in their friends' faces and say, "Ha ha! Look what I've got. You don't have
wave
one."
it around in their friends' faces as it slips out of their hand and falls to the ground, and they scream and writhe in pain because their $2,000 phone just bit the dust.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger screen to crack now, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So, but we did have Dr. Huber was on with us yesterday, and he said for him he travels constantly, and so for him it was he could easily slip it into his pocket, right? So it was, for him that means that he didn't have to buy a phone and a tablet, and for that reason it was attractive to him. Of course, he's an Android user, so we got into this Apple versus Android conversation,
Mm-hmm.
And he likes Androids, I like Apple, and that was the end of it.
There was a big battle.
There was.
It was ugly.
It's funny. I was recently listening to some security experts, and they were so amazingly adamant being pro Apple in that respect. He said, there's a lot of techies who like Android because they can customize it and do the things they like, but those who really know security won't touch an Android phone.
Really?
Yeah, because they're just almost impossible to lock it down and be and to trust that what's on that phone is what you think's on that phone. And that seems to be bread and butter for Apple. That's kind of an area they've staked out, and security people recognize that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just like the fact that it's so my phone and my laptop, my MacBook work so well together, and that I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And Apples are easy to use.
That's my feeling too. The continuity thing has become a big deal for me, and that and until you've lived in that world, it's hard to explain to somebody why that's better. but the ability for something to do something on your phone and then pick up your laptop and it's already there, knows what you were doing, and you just go back and forth and you flow kind of seamlessly between your devices and use whichever one seems to work best at the moment is very nice.
It is very nice. So on to other technology that is frankly hilarious. Nike's self-lacing sneakers turned into bricks after a faulty firmware update.
Yeah, that was hilarious as well. Yeah, it's like, oh great, you can't, now they're slippers. They're slip-ons or slippers, or hopefully they didn't break down in the laced status.
Is
right?
it like so stuck on your feet?
Yeah, you can't get them off because
isn't that like an old story about the guy who put the shoes on, he couldn't take them off and he had to keep dancing until he died? That's like a
yeah. No, was that on The Mask? What was that on, Tobin?
I remember like a cartoon when we were kids, like one of those Saturday morning cartoons with someone with the dancing shoes and they couldn't take them off.
So apparently, these shoes.
Don't fail me now.
Right, these shoes are $350.
Yeah,
and they're self-lacing. And
they're the foldable phone of shoes. Hey, Nike's had a lot of bad shoe news too. I mean, have you guys heard about what happened to Zion Williamson from Duke?
Yeah.
So
in his Nike shoes, he stepped clear through the side of the shoe.
Oh!
The side of the shoe failed, and he slipped and he injured his knee. And in the photo, you can see the shoe is actually riding up his calf because the side of the shoe has a split from the pinky toe to the heel. All the way, the shoe disengaged from the sole.
There's a
the
picture,
top of the shoe.
There's a picture of that, Todd, with President Obama was at the game.
Oh, I know.
And there's a picture with him pointing as it happened. I mean, and the look of everyone's face as he's going down is just, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrid that the guy is, injured, and hopefully he won't be injured for long and he'll be back in the game. But I've never seen a shoe fail like that. That was insane. Absolutely insane. If you've seen the video and then you see a picture of the shoe afterwards, I mean, it like the uppers disengaged from the lowers on one whole side of the shoe.
Wow.
So
Nike's having a bad week.
Yeah, and you think about all the professional athletes who use Nike shoes, the teams, it's part of their uniform. Mm-hmm. And are they now going to have those professional teams cancel their Nike orders? Are you going to have them switch?
Because the college he's with, Duke, has a Nike contract, so he was wearing Nike shoes because of that contract.
Right.
And the shoe is a PG 2.5. That's Paul George 2.5 shoe. And Paul George has publicly asked Nike, "Is there a problem with my shoe? Should I not be wearing my shoes? Should anybody be wearing? What's going on?" And Nike has basically said, "We're investigating, and we'll let you know as soon as we know what's going on." Now, realize Zion Williamson was moving at high speed, stopping and turning on a dime. He's 6'7" and 280 pounds.
Yeah,
so
but they're making
I'm not
shoes.
putting that kind of pressure on a shoe. But
professional athletes sure are.
Absolutely. And that kind of dramatic failure is just unacceptable. I mean, that was just insane. That's like, a blowout on a freeway on your tire. It's that jolting. It's that jarring.
So I'm looking at a picture of it, and it did that. The bottom of the shoe completely separated from the top of the shoe. Completely separate. I'm looking at his sock.
Yeah. And this the same week that they had then their super high-tech self-lacing shoes totally barf and break down because of a software update in the shoe. So, like I said, Nike's having a bad week.
Well, and their stocks reflected it too. They saw a fairly significant drop in their stocks too.
I was going to say I don't follow their stock, but I understand that they took a hit because of it. Because a lot of people went, maybe they were pushing the limits a little too far.
Well, I hope that. Clearly, he was injured. I hope it is very temporary because this young man is going to have a stellar career if he's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's bankable money when he goes to the NBA. He's quite he's a very outgoing personality too. I saw in an interview. He seems like he's a super nice kid. So I wish him well and hope that he gets healthy.
So with that, let's take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
Brandon's Brake and Lamp Inspection would like to remind all motorists that every year thousands of people die or are seriously injured because of a reckless driver. When driving in child-populated areas, always remember the 3 C's of safety: caution, courtesy, and above all, common sense. This reminder from Brandon's Brake and Lamp Inspection for big rig, motorhomes, and much more. Give them a call today, 909-474-1602. That's 909-474-1602. Brandon's Break and Lab inspection on the air because they truly care.
Hi everyone, it's Yanitza Munoz from the publications Maxim, FHM, and Sports Illustrated. So being a model, I have to work out a lot. It's tough staying in shape, especially keeping my abs. Until I discovered TC1 Gel. TC1 Gel is a thermogenic gel that you rub on your waist 15 minutes before exercising. Then simply put on the TC1 sweat belt and start your workout. You'll sweat like crazy and feel the burn. It focuses on boosting circulation, increasing perspiration. It activates body heat, reduces muscle fatigue, and burns off more calories. Get your TC1 Gel now. Go to tc1gel.com and use the code RADIO30 for 30% off discount on this amazing product. tc1gel.com and get your abs back or just get in shape. Follow their Instagram at tc1gel.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-327-1660. That's 800-327-1660. Again, 800-327-1660.
This is Dr. Mitch Gibson from The Mitch and Kathy Show. There's a lot of talk shows that give you a chance to air your opinions about politics. What about those other areas that you hold back on, such as those strange things that happen during sex? Join us and tell us all about these things that you really want to talk about. The Mitch and Kathy Show. Every Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or 3 to 5 p.m. Pack time on 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, or KCAAradio.com.
KCAA.
I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So we got to talk about that crazy weather yesterday.
It was crazy.
It was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. So I came back. I had a meeting, and I was walking back to my office, which happens to be on an elementary school campus, when it started snowing, like snow flurries. And this is in San Bernardino. And the kids were going bananas. They were so excited. You know, they were standing there with their tongues out, like catching the snow. And you know, and I walked by one, and I wasn't sufficiently, walked by a child, and I wasn't sufficiently, you know, excited. He goes, "Aren't you excited? This is snow." And it was just the cutest thing ever. You know, of course, kids in the Midwest are like, "Aren't you excited? This is snow," because they get too much of it.
Well, I still think they get pumped up with about a snow day, right?
Well, that's true. That's true. So you took some pictures in Corona, Tobin. Or not Tobin, Todd.
Yeah, who are you talking to? Yeah, I did, and I tried sharing them with family members, but apparently not all those links went out. So I'm sending you a few copies of the ones that I took now. The hills above Corona were covered with snow. The actual city of Corona didn't get snow. We weren't quite high enough up, but literally, I think if you'd have gone up another 200 feet above Corona, like Foothill Boulevard is one of the ones that runs along sort of the hills, and so we went up to Foothill and then went on a little offshoot street up above that and snapped some pictures of the hillside of covered with snow, which is kind of cool. In 20 years here, I don't think I've ever seen them covered like that, down to that level.
It's crazy, right?
And the mountains across the valley looked beautiful.
So a woman that I work with lives in Orange County, and her friend was texting from her office in Tustin saying that they had snow flurries in Tustin.
Okay.
It's like, wow. So it was.
I believe it.
You know, I don't remember it ever being this winter has been more than I remember. Like, more rain, more snow, more everything than
colder.
Yeah, colder than in my memory, at least. How about you, Todd? You're a little older. What do you think?
I remember a really rainy winter, and I'm trying to remember what year it was. It would have been like 85, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, 81.
And well, I remember in like the late 80s, it was before 1980 because it was before I graduated high school, and that gives you an idea how old I am. Where we actually put a snow page in our yearbook because we had in '79 we had snow drifts up to 3 inches, and we went out to Retchie Canyon and built a snowman and took pictures of it, and our snowman was less than a foot high, but we made it, and so we made a mini snowman and put pictures of it in the yearbook.
You made a snow baby.
Yeah, and but then a few years later I was at San Diego State swimming, and I remember one winter where every morning after morning practice it was raining, and I was trudging my way across campus, miserable, cold and wet, having just gotten out of a pool already, so it was less than fun.
I do remember, I think it was 1981, 82, now that you said that, where there was so much rain that Prado Dam in Chino, kind of on the San Bernardino, Orange County border, Prado Dam, the Prado Park was completely underwater. So you would drive by on the freeway, which was a little higher, and you could see the tops of the trees underwater. Everything else was underwater.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's nuts.
And I vaguely remember that as well. Yeah, where it flooded out because that whole area is like a basin behind there, so that if you get a lot of water, it just spreads out as opposed to overflowing the dam.
Right. Exactly. It's flood control.
Right. Yeah. Flood control plain. Right.
Yes.
Proper term. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I was going to jump in here and just say, the storm has caused some major damage, and I don't know if you've seen the pictures of Green Spot Road, but this is a major artery to get up to the mountains, and big chunks of the road have washed away because of the rain, and the pictures are pretty dramatic. And Redlands has actually declared a local emergency, and it's going to cost a pretty penny to get it fixed, $250,000, and they're going to need to do it quick because there's a lot of folks that come through there, and that having that road shut down or whatever is going to create a real problem, and that's what they've done. They've had to shut it down because it's just not safe.
Yeah, I listened on one of the local TV stations when I got up this morning, and they said that they had closed down the Orange Freeway. Now, I don't know which one is the Orange Freeway.
That's the 22.
Yeah.
Is it the 22? They said there was black ice on the Orange Freeway, and so they were getting people off the freeway and forcing them onto surface streets to get around certain segments of it.
Wow.
Okay.
And that's got to be a major interruption on traffic on a Friday. I think if you can work at home, try working at home today. And be super, super safe driving out on the road.
So I just looked it up, and it's the 57 that's the Orange Freeway. I thought it was the 22.
The 57?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, so that runs from, like, Pomona all the way down.
Yes. Yeah, crazy, right?
Uh-huh. Still, that's a pretty major corridor there.
We forget that, like, I'm thinking about Green Spot Road. The whole, the going up to the 38, so taking Lagonia up to the 38, you pass by this really rocky area. Well, that's a riverbed.
Yep.
We put in the dam. We put in the Seven Oaks Dam. We being human beings put in the Seven Oaks Dam that stops a lot of that water. But it's still that's a place where water flows. And we get complacent, especially during drought years. We're like, well, it's never going to be any water here. Maybe there was 1,000 years ago. No, it wasn't 1,000 years ago. It was actually much more recent. And a lot of places where we've built homes. I actually drove by a home, and it was on the border of San Bernardino in Rialto, that was built in a riverbed. It was built in what was clearly a riverbed. I thought, what kind of idiot builds his house in a riverbed?
Somebody
where your home is used to be a flood basin. I remember 2.5 feet of water covering acres in that area at one point in time, where you could not drive through there. The road behind your house was flooded under 2.5, 3 feet of water at one point, and that's why there's the homes were built up on sort of berms.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that if then they really redid all the floodplain, the flood channel over there on the Santa Ana River on the other side of the big freeway interchange from where you guys are. But that design being that they would channel the water all over there, but just in case the homes were built up higher, so that the water would get channeled down the roads and not through the homes.
So what you're saying is that I'm exactly the kind of idiot to build my house in a riverbed.
No. Here's what's cool, though.
It's a floodplain, and that's quite different.
Here's what's cool, though, Todd. I mean, literally, you can look over our back fence across the street at the Colton side, and our house is like the base of our house is sitting at like their roof level. So what that tells you is that if something happens, bye-bye to all those folks in the Colton side.
Right.
They're going to flood.
And I think that was probably the city engineers on the San Bernardino side of the street saying, we've seen the water standing out here, and I don't care what they say about the floodplain. Stuff happens. We're going to make sure that you build this up, and that's why that was probably required.
Yeah.
Back when those homes were built. So
well, we have had droughts for so long, it's not something that we've even had to think about.
Yeah, you don't even consider it, And let's face it, we're still living in a desert, so we're getting all this wonderful rain right now. Come August, that just means there'll be more tinder to burn. I mean, it's going to get hot and dry again because we live in a desert.
Yeah. So you are just Mr. Sunshine and happy news today.
First your house floods, then it burns down.
Just being realistic, I enjoy the rain. I enjoy the desert.
Yeah, I'm just playing.
I actually enjoy the rain more than the desert. I don't know why I live in a desert.
Yeah, I enjoy the rain. I actually really like the weather that we've had, with the exception of last Thursday. Not yesterday, but the week ago Thursday. That was a little out of control. That day was bad. Because we got so much rain so quickly.
I had on my my waterproof Gore-Tex ghillie suit in camo, and I was out standing on a pool deck going, I don't make enough money to be doing this. Why am I a coach? What am I doing?
And the kids' parents are probably like, why didn't you cancel practice, Todd?
Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's fair. There's no lightning, so we can swim. They're all warm and toasty in the pool. They're all wet already, so, it's just the coaches that suffer and the poor parents. And most of the parents, let's face it, they drop and go. There's a few that stick around, but most of them go like, okay, get in, goodbye.
So we're looking at some warmer weather coming and drier weather coming in the next few days, and that'll be nice. I think one day next week is supposed to be almost 80.
Ooh.
Right?
Here comes that desert air.
Although now I'm looking at it. So I was using Weather Underground, and now I'm looking at another source, and the highest day is 73. But that's still pretty warm. So with that, it's time to take a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
California Headline News. Snow falling again Thursday in parts of Southern California in communities that rarely see freezing temperatures, let alone snowfall. From Simi Valley to Malibu, Calabasas to Valencia, residents out enjoying the Sea of White.
You have to go to Big Bear to get the snow, so to find snow right here, it's pretty cool to be able to point it out and say, hey, yeah, it's on their backyard, it's on their front yard. It's right here in Southern California.
Higher elevations, the snow brought treacherous conditions for residents and drivers. A thick layer of snow covering parts of the 5 freeway. Grapevine closed to traffic for hours. Also I-15 at the California-Nevada state line, both reopened. Oakland teachers on the picket lines for a second straight day today, continuing to demand higher wages and smaller class sizes. 85% of teachers were out protesting Thursday.
Strikes are won in the streets, not at the bargaining table. So we need strong lines like we had today.
Keith Brown with the Teachers Union District increasing their offer to an 8.5% raise. Jeff Scott, California News.
You're in the front yard, shovel in hand, about to dig, when a thought crosses your mind.
Was I supposed to call 811 before I start digging? Nah, that's just for excavator dudes.
No, dude, it's for homeowners, too. Before starting any digging project, call 811 2 working days in advance to get all underground lines marked for free, because natural gas lines and other utilities can be buried anywhere.
Got it. Thanks, deep-voiced narrator.
You're welcome, dude. Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
The big game turned out to be a big yawn. Some fun facts about it make up your Geico Sports Now.
This week's Geico Sports Now.
It was the lowest scoring pro football finale in 53 tries. Not a football fan? Just watch for the fun commercials each year. The folks who keep track tell us that nearly a third of the U.S. had eyeballs on at least part of the game, making all the advertisers very happy. Talk about getting your message out. Go to geico.com and you could save as much as 15% on your auto insurance in as little as 15 minutes.
California headline news. A suspected van thief who led police on a 3-county chase Thursday night is now in custody. The pursuit began in Orange County after officers reportedly tried to stop the vehicle near an intersection at around 11 o'clock. A high-speed pursuit spanning freeways in Orange, Los Angeles, and San Bernardino counties. The pursuit continuing onto surface streets where the suspect apparently blew through red lights, the driver losing a front tire shortly after surrendering to authorities in Newport Beach. California News, I'm Jeff Scott.
It's time to take a look at our roadways. I'm Erin Brinker. We still have closures now, especially with the fresh coat of snow in San Bernardino National Forest and Idlewild, in Mentone, in the Cleveland National Forest, Hemet, and San Jacinto Park. If you're heading up to the mountains, you're going to need to take chains and or have four-wheel drive, and so make sure that you check your personal route before you leave the house. In Riverside, on the 60 westbound approaching Valley Way, an accident has been cleared. Stop-and-go traffic is backed up from the 215-91 freeway. In Arrowhead Highlands, on the Highway 18 before Lake Gregory, an accident has been cleared. In Upland, on the 210 westbound at Campus, an accident has been cleared. Slow traffic is backed up from Carnelian. And in the Cajon Pass on the 15 southbound after Oak Hill Road, a wreck is in the center divider. This has been your traffic report. Drive carefully, everyone. I'm Erin Brinker, and this is KCAA.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Rod Tanner. Well, this morning, we'll have patchy frost well into the day. Otherwise, sunny skies are expected with a high 56, the winds to 20 miles an hour. It'll be clear overnight with a low of 37. Saturday looks to be sunny with a high 58. Then clear skies, milder temperatures Saturday night with a low of 41. Sunday looks mostly sunny, our high 63. And a mostly sunny Monday with a high 65. I'm Rod Tanner, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center with the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California. KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California. We are KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. And when you hear that tune, you know it's time for Todd's movie review.
It is. I went and saw Alita Battle Angel, and I came away pretty impressed, to tell you the truth. I would give it a B+. I went into this movie with a lot of trepidation because the main character is a completely CGI character, and she's supposed to be a human being. And so it was based on a manga series, and so she's a human being, but she's a modified human being. She's basically a cyborg, and her eyes are large, and there was this big concern about the uncanny valley, the sense of they look real but not quite real, and so it just throws you off. I tell you what, a few minutes into the movie and that was gone. I was in and ready for the ride of the story. And although some of the acting in the story I don't think was necessarily the best I've ever seen, it was a well done movie. I was impressed. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. Tobin, you went and saw it too, right?
Yeah, I did, and I would agree with you. The only downside I would say is that they really, I think, overly work the story to set it up for the next one, yeah. And so I would like to have had a little more of a resolution to this one with the potential for a later one. But it seemed like it really was just, I felt like I got half a movie, You know, in the sense that there's definitely something hanging there that they got to come back for.
Yeah, you know, and that seems to be sort of a trend these days, is that if they think that they've got the opportunity to drag something out into 2 or 3 movies, they certainly take that advantage, and it does, you know, it means that you really watch 2/3 of a movie, and the last third is the setup for the new movie, and you know, I think the better directors and the better producers blend that more carefully so that you don't feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was fairly obvious that was a setup. You're right.
Yeah.
So why was she CGI? Why couldn't an actress? I mean, obviously there was an actress who was voicing her or whatever, but I don't understand why she was CGI.
Mostly because they wanted her facial features to match the way that the character had been drawn previously, with unhumanly large eyes. Yeah. You know, in that sense, it's very much the technology. This was produced by James Cameron, and actually was written by James Cameron, and I'm going to mess up her name, but it's Leda Kalogridis. Kalogridis, I think. Anyhow, they. And produced by Cameron and John Landau, and they used some of the technology that they had used from
Avatar?
His Avatar movie. And if you're a fan of any of the Marvel comic book movies, or any of the comic book movies, DCU ones as well, you know, they cut back and forth, so you'll see like a human face acting. But then when you see that character jumping and flying and stuff, it's all CGI. Well, here they just went all the way in with the CGI. Just sort of to, like I said, to give it that sense that it was in this otherworldliness. And so a lot of characters had CGI enhancements with the actors' faces, and they interacted with actors throughout the movie. It was just the main character was completely CGI.
Well, and she's a cyborg, and the way that they did it was just beautiful.
Yeah, in fact, you know, they did, and Robert Rodriguez was the director, and he likes to do like tight cuts on faces, especially when he's trying to build tension in a scene. So he gets in real close on a face, and so you can't see what's going on around him. And so you're looking at the actors being expressive, and they did a really good job of that. That's one thing that their motion capture technology does really well. Rosa Salazar did an amazing job acting. You know, I mean, you can't call it anything but acting, because you know, she's in an action suit that tracks her body motion. She's got the little dots. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen that, how they do that now on her face to get her facial expressions, and that's all what drives the animation that's being created by the computer. So she acted through this thing really, really well, and then it was rendered amazingly well. I mean, they like the close-ups on her face. You saw the imperfections in a skin that looked human. You know, it didn't look plasticky like the you know, the way the hair and the faces looked in the first Toy Story. Even the humans in Toy Story didn't look human. Here, she looked like a human that wasn't quite right, like she'd been altered, and that's what she was supposed to be. And so it was well done. So and a lot of the actors had CGI parts and pieces, because in this world everybody has, you know, prosthetics and things that they put onto their body in order to make them faster and stronger. You started to say something, Aaron?
Yeah, was the movie like edge of your seat gripping? Was it more character driven? Was it more, you know,
It was an action film. I mean, there was character development, and they did a good job of that. But there's no way getting around the fact that this was an action film. This was a film that was set up to drive you, you know, towards another film. But it was, you know, somebody thrust into a world. It was sort of the fish out of water type story, where Alita doesn't really belong here. She's from her tech that her body lives in. She's a human brain living in a cyborg body, and this body was built hundreds of years prior to this time, and they've lost that technology, so they don't have that capability anymore. And so she's trying to fit in, and you know, she's a teenage girl, and so she's still a teenage human being in this super body, and being that it's a cyborg, you can upgrade parts and pieces. I don't want to give away the story, but you know, you're not stuck with what you got. right? Because you can add on and upgrade. And so she and others do that throughout this movie, and so they change who they are as they go.
So how many on a scale of 1 to 5? What would you give it?
Well, like I said, I give it a B+, so I'd probably give it a 4. I thought it was a pretty well done movie, and I thought they did a good job with the action sequences. I thought that the computer rendering was probably some of the best that I've seen in terms of the CGI and how they acted within the CGI, and how they were able to have the actors act with a CGI character. You never got the sense that the CGI character was pasted into the scene. She felt like she was there, and they were talking to her and looking at her. And that's always thrown me, is sometimes the eyes give it away of the real actors, because they don't look like they're looking at something that's really there.
Right.
They look like, they're looking where that thing might be, and it doesn't end up being there when they put it in the movie. And this was really well done in that sense.
So I heard that the President's Day weekend was really sort of slow for movies this year, and I would say that Alita Battle Angel was sort of the gem of what's out right now. I had a friend, though, who went and saw What Men Want, and she said that was a really good movie as well. So, but
What Men Want is 4th in the theaters right now. Battle Angel was number 1. The Lego Movie was number 2. And Isn't It Romantic? The comedy from what's her name? The Australian girl, Rebel Wilson, was 3rd.
Interesting. Lego Movie kind of intrigues me because I enjoyed the first one. But
I was shocked at how much I liked the first one. I thought I went in there with no expectations.
But yeah, the lineup of movies right now are not the kind of movies that typically would draw me in. So but I really like the Alita Battle Angel. That's right up my alley, and I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, people who like that kind of thing, I think everybody's sort of sitting on the edge of their chairs waiting for Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Because we need another superhero movie.
That's due on the 8th. Yeah, but Captain Marvel's kind of special. But she's like the most powerful person in the MCU, and we haven't seen her yet.
Yes,
and we know that she's going to tie into the resolution of the Infinity Wars. So we know that's coming, and we want to see that character.
Tobin, I don't care that she's a girl. I'm just not into superhero movies, and it seems like that's all we have. I mean, all of the blockbusters, they're always some superhero movie, and everybody goes, yeah, but this one's different. No, they're all the same. They're all the same.
Aquaman sitting at number 12 this last week, and it has the most gross so far of the year at over $330 million.
Nice.
So with that,
and I didn't think that was that great of a movie.
Yeah, but it had Jason Momoa. So women actually went to see it.
And that's what brought it in. You say I don't like those movies, but you know what? There were a lot of women who don't like those movies but said, hey, I'm going to get to go see Jason Momoa.
Exactly.
He's a hottie.
Hey, did you hear about the Girl Scouts put Jason Momoa on their Samoa's cookie box, and it's sold like crazy. Those are selling like crazy because it's cookie time. So
I believe it.
With that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
Samsung's next premium smartphone is foldable. At the Galaxy Unpacked event on Wednesday, the electronics maker showed off the Galaxy Fold. NBC's Liz McLaughlin has the details.
The pocket-sized phone opens like a book to create a 7.3-inch touchscreen that can run multiple apps. But consumers will have to shell out nearly $2,000 to get their hands on the Galaxy Fold when it's released on April 26th.
2 Italian nurses in Naples are believed to be the culprits behind a cockroach outbreak at their hospital. Video taken at the Vecchio and Pellegrini Hospital show many cockroaches roaming the halls of one of the wards. Authorities grew suspicious when the roaches were identified as non-native and seen as disoriented and scattered. They believe the nurses brought the bugs in a bag containing sawdust and a sheet. The hospital director says she believes the extraordinarily grave situation occurred because the nurses wanted to be transferred to a less demanding ward. I wonder if one of the nurses was named Jackie. Andrew Caravella, NBC Radio News.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@kcaaradio.com.
It's time to say see you later, alligator, to embarrassing and troublesome issues with your skin, nails, and hair with all-natural Cayman alligator oil. Cayman oil is locally made, right in Louisiana, where people have been using alligator oil for centuries to treat all kinds of ailments. A drop a day of Cayman oil can help you say, see you later, alligator, to athlete's foot, nail fungus, acne, eczema, rashes, dry skin, cuts, infections, MRSA, scars, burns, sunburns, and even ingrown hair and dandruff. If you or someone you know is tired of suffering with any of these skin, nail, and hair troubles, you need to visit mycayman.com to learn more about 100% natural, non-toxic, hypoallergenic Cayman oil and get a bottle today. Say see you later, alligator, with Cayman alligator oil at mycayman.com. That's myCaimon.com. mycayman.com.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is home to some of the best bargain shopping in the region. Cityware, Style for Less, and Dollar Tree, to name just a few. Friendly shop owners and staff are waiting for you to stop in for the many specials and bargains they're excited to share. The Tri-City Shopping Center is located just off I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. Make it your home for all your shopping needs, and you'll know why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So San Bernardino police have arrested California's cannabis landlord.
They got her, Erin.
They got her.
Finally.
Do you want to take the lead on that one?
Yeah, so we've been covering this story a little bit, but a real estate developer who touts herself as California's cannabis landlord was arrested during a raid by San Bernardino police at her Pacific Palisades home, authorities confirmed Thursday. Stephanie Smith, 44, was taken into custody at 2:30 p.m. Wednesday and booked into the County Regional Detention Facility.
Century Regional Detention.
Century.
In Linwood.
Sorry, in Linwood, where she's being held on $30,000 bail. She'll be out in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
She's got that money probably lying around. She was booked on suspicion of possession for sale of a controlled substance, according to San Bernardino police spokesman Sadie Albers. Smith is scheduled to be arraigned on Friday, today, in Los Angeles Superior Court, according to online booking records. Albers confirmed that about $200,000 in cash was seized from her home in the 400 block of Puerto del Mar, along with a large stash of prescription Norco and oxycodone pills. Now, her story goes back a ways, but she was also preceding her arrest on February 6th. They raided one of her buildings in San Bernardino at 444 North H Street, and they seized more than 2,600 pounds of marijuana in that building. And she had been arrested previously and released. They had raided 4 different buildings that she owned in the city that had tons of marijuana, and she's denied being a drug lord and says she's just a landlord, Erin, and she leases her properties to cultivators of marijuana. Mm-hmm. And she has nothing to do with the actual marijuana growing.
No,
business.
she's busy selling her Norco and her oxycodone and whatever else from her Palisades home. She's the one who her property was raided right before marijuana became legal. So it was like that December, and it became legal in January.
Yes,
because she had a grow project here in San Bernardino, and she also donated quite a bit of money to John Valdivia's mayoral race.
Yeah, in fact, back in 2017. When they raided her home back at that point, they found a business card from our now mayor, John Valdivia, and a letter thanking her for her campaign contribution, trust, support, and friendship. And, of course, she'd given $6,000 to his campaign. And then he also went on to take money from a whole bunch of other folks in the marijuana industry. But he won't say what his stand is on cannabis. But I think his taking the contributions kind of answers that question for us.
Because he doesn't have a stand. He sits down.
It's true. And he takes the money. He takes their money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of folks are looking for another shoe to drop on the mayor because I don't know if you remember this. Maybe 2 months ago, there was a shooting at another cannabis dispensary, and it turns out the mayor had been there right before the shooting occurred.
Yes.
And the mayor would not disclose, what he was doing there. And a lot of folks thought, and I think this was, and I say 2 months ago, it was right before the election.
I thought it was in January.
No.
Was it further back?
I think it was further back. And
recently.
Recently. Anyway,
there we go.
But anyway, people suspected that he was there getting money for his campaign and not disclosing the contributions. That like these guys, it's a cash business, right?
Yeah.
And anyway.
Well, and we all wonder how he earns his living.
Yeah.
Before he was mayor.
Well, he was unemployed for several years before he was mayor. The only money he was getting was his city council salary, which was minuscule. You can't live on it. And so people were wondering, where was he getting his money? And so, if he was taking money from these shady interests as a way to survive while he was preparing to run for mayor, I mean, that's kind of what brought down Chaz Kelly. If you remember when he was a city councilman in San Bernardino, that he had taken a bunch of campaign money and then was using it for his personal finances.
So Valdivia is still refusing to disclose his position on legalized marijuana, but his campaign finance reports revealed that he got a generous donation. I can't even talk. A generous donation from last August from High Times CEO Adam Levine. High Times is the counterculture monthly magazine and marijuana brand, and they've been doing their Cannabis Cup at the National Orange Show for the last several years.
Yeah.
We've advertised Cannabis Cup here on this radio station. Yeah. And Valdivia, as you might imagine, is not responding to press inquiries.
Of course not. Of course not.
So I really, the thing that, she lives in this Pacific Palisades home and she's doing her dirty deeds, here in San Bernardino.
I think that's what's rubbed me wrong about her from the very beginning is that, here's this wealthy woman, who lives on the coast in her mansion, and she's got all of her shady businesses out here in our poor community. And we've got enough issues without having to deal with all this stuff. If her business is so reputable and so great, why isn't she doing her business out there?
Yep, exactly. Because there's certainly people who have more money out there.
Yeah.
So
real estate costs more money out there too, though.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, but she has some.
Yeah, and she got busted while she was at it.
Exactly. Exactly.
and it wasn't for dealing with pot because that's I'm sure there's rules and regulations on that, but as you said, it was for what. Norco and oxycodone and whatever else she maybe had.
Todd, did you ever watch that show Weeds?
I did.
Or Weed.
Weed.
I didn't watch Weed. I watched Weeds, which was an HBO show.
Yes.
Oh, is that the one with the? I've just forgotten her name.
The three name person. What's her name?
Yes.
Not Sarah Jessica Parker. It was a different 3-name person.
Yes, but it was basically a white woman who got into middle class woman who got into the pot business and became like a drug lord.
Yeah, Mary Louise Parker.
Mary Louise Parker. Yeah. Well, I look at this woman and I view her as kind of that model, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how she presents. I mean, she's this, upper middle class.
Yes, but Mary Louise Parker's character was a dealer in Agrestic where she lived.
Yes. I know. She didn't go to the poor part of town to...
That's right. Yeah. That's where she went to buy.
Yeah.
But she sold in her own neighborhood.
So, I've never watched the show, but we have HBO. I wonder if I can go back and find it.
It's an interesting show. I've watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on for, 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah.
Oh, no, 7, 8 seasons.
8 seasons.
It only was an eighth season, yeah.
Oh, it wasn't HBO, it was Showtime. It was Showtime.
Yeah.
So we don't have Showtime.
They actually have played an edited version on like TNT and stuff too. So there's you have to edit down some of the language and some of the scenes, but
yeah.
So have you heard about this Coast Guard officer who's accused of a terror plot?
I haven't.
So a U.S. Coast Guard lieutenant is accused of amassing a cache of weapons, plotting to attack Democratic politicians and journalists. And he was held for 2 weeks on Thursday while federal prosecutors consider charging him with more crimes. Apparently, he was this closet white supremacist, and that he was just an all-around bad dude, and he was planning really bad stuff. So his name is Chris Hassan. He's only 49 years old. He is a domestic terrorist, a self-described white supremacist who had a list of potential targets, including Nancy Pelosi and Joe Scarborough from MSNBC. He searched the internet for where members of Congress live and in which public figures had security details. He's got a public defender now, and she's pointing to his military service as if that's going to wipe it all clean. It's like, no, military just shot him, taught him how to do it.
Yeah, well, and the military runs prisons too.
It does. So in a draft email from June 2017, prosecutors have cited these words. This is what he said: "I am dreaming of a way to kill almost every last person on Earth. I think a plague would be most successful, but how do I acquire the needed Spanish flu, botulism, anthrax? Not sure yet, but we'll find something."
Yeah, this guy was an acolyte of that guy in...
Anders Breivik.
Anders Breivik, yeah. And the Norwegian extremist, the guy who killed all those kids on the island.
Yeah, like 70 kids.
Yeah, and so he like got that guy's manifesto and was studying it. And this guy's a crazy one. He's like the Unabomber. He's out there.
Just put him away forever. Or, put him away forever.
Yeah, these people don't belong in polite society or any society.
Society. Now put him in prison. We'll see what they do to him there.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I know we don't have a whole lot of time, and you guys didn't get a chance to try it, but I did go try one of those Impossible burgers that we talked about last Friday.
And
I just wanted to share my experience a little bit. I was impressed. The texture at first was just a smidge different because there's a little bit of a crust on the outside as it grills, but it looks like hamburger meat. They actually press it on the grill. I noticed that I went and got mine at Dog House, which is a chain that does brats and other stuff, but they also do burgers. And they have an Impossible burger on the menu. And they press it on the same grill that they cook the meat. So if you're a true vegetarian, you might have an issue with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't. I was just trying it. And so I watched them cook it and ate it, and I sent pictures to you guys. It looks like a hamburger patty, tastes like a hamburger patty. Texture was just a little different. Like I said, there was a little bit of a crust on it that I don't normally get in a burger. But overall, I got to say, I would eat that any day. Any day. It was impressive.
And I think that cooking it on the same grill for most of it's really designed for meat eaters who are trying to eat less meat. And so, cooking it on the same grill probably wouldn't bother the person who's going to go get it.
Right. Yeah. And they didn't have a separate grill. They had one grill in the place. And so they maybe have one side of it that they use for those I wasn't paying attention to seeing like where they moved it on the grill and stuff. But
we are.
But I did notice that they had one grill.
We are completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA. Have a great day, everybody.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Chuck Kamlick, CNBC. Kraft Heinz could lose a fifth of its value, maybe more, in trading today. Kraft lost almost $13 billion last quarter, said the SEC is looking